This is with the great Eric Kong again. I'm sorry, I'm trying to finish my book. Eric just texted me again, so I gave him VOV, which I use for my Yancheng Da Shui Shui Sheng or Da Shui Sheng, my big students. So here he comes. It is December 3rd. December so is it the 4th in China? Yeah. Oh no, same day, just nighttime there. So yeah, I've been trying to finish my book, giving me a goal to finish this by the first of the year. But of course, you want to edit it and make it good. So let's wait for the great Mr. Eric Kong. Thank you for choosing Zoom for your first year. Upgrades. For some reason, whiteboards, add a calendar. No. They have like an updating, but it didn't allow me to. I don't know what's going on with Zoom. Maybe I have to delete it and reinstall it. But here, hopefully Eric's coming. And sorry for the confusion, Eric. And then let me download his work. Yes. All right. Yeah, I think we shall work with that. Is if he has any weakness in English, it would just be well, it's just so hard. I mean, it's so debatable nowadays with so many different different ways of communication and communicating. So it's difficult to know what's right and wrong, but I'll explain it to him when he comes in. Where is he? Hopefully he's not having a problem. Oh, there he is. Okay. Yes, hello, good evening. And
Nice to see you. Good morning.
nice to see you too. Sorry about that because it has the same color icon, right? Zoom and
Yeah,
VOV.
I know that. And it is also another name in Chinese, and it's really popular. And I often use it. So firstly, I felt strange about it because I don't know its name. It's VOV, I think, or VOOV, but I can open it in another kind of application in Chinese form.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's okay. It's just we're used to Zoom, so I prefer that. Sorry, Eric. I have for some reason in the morning I've got the curve here. I think it's this window. Hold on a second. The sun comes in. So how are you doing?
Um, so these days
Oh,
I am feeling good, but well, there is still, I think, one unfortunate thing leading to another one. So the first one is because in China these days, I'm not sure if you know that we have a lot of pandemics because we will not have lockdowns anymore for
right.
the economics growth.
Yeah.
And because of the fully unlocked, we can go anywhere we want. But after the lockdown, we face some serious problems in our city. For example, we every day we have nearly 30 new cases
Right.
who are infected by the coronavirus in our city. And now, totally in our city, there are about 200, and there's still growing numbers. So sometimes we're afraid of it.
Right.
And this unfortunate thing causes another, which is our school noticed us that maybe we'll not be able to return home after we went to school tomorrow, which is
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've talked about this. So I find it fascinating because that's my master's degree, right, from USC. So I'll pull that up for you, right? So I've got my master's. I don't know. Can you read this? This is like kind of old English. Can you read that, Eric?
master of, so I can't read these words, but I can read the last one,
Yeah, no, it's just
administration.
it's how you train your eyes. One day, yeah, one day maybe I'll try to send you some worksheets. It's like reading like old Chinese, right? Because like Taiwan still has the old characters versus mainland, right? So it's just a way, and similar to
Yes,
similar to characters with Japanese and Korean, right? There's some similarities, but it's different. So Old English, this is a style of Old
yeah,
English, and then there's also script, but it's kind of like a lost art now because people just don't use it, right? But this is so this is my master's is in
yes,
long-term care, long-term health care. So I find it interesting because many parts of the world, right? Especially America, China, even India, I think, right? The disproportion. So like your parents just had you. So in essence, our population is shrinking and the population is getting older, right? So one of the issues with China, because you have so many older people now, right? When you go out, you'll see,
yes,
so many grandparents walking around. And for whatever reason, it was the same in America too. I don't know if they distrust the government, whether they elected not to get the vaccines or what have you, but they are very susceptible. Do you know that word, susceptible?
yes.
What does that mean, susceptible?
It means, I think, vulnerable and easy
Yes.
to, um, like to be influenced by something.
Yes, and your health, you can be susceptible to something. So I consider this virus, I don't think it's very serious for younger people, for you and for
Yeah, I
people
don't
who are
think too.
healthy and stay healthy, right? And who don't smoke, who don't have other, we say, in English medical terms, right? Preconditions, right? Meaning like your health is good. So if your health is good, you don't really have a problem if you contract, right? Meaning if you get the virus. However, the problem
Yeah,
comes if you are older, right? Maybe 60 years older or older, like many people in our countries, right? And especially China has so many of these people, right? Your grandparents' age, that if they don't take the vaccine, and especially if they have any health problems, they are very susceptible to dying, right? It's like the
yeah,
flu. It's like the other things that we've had in the world, right? So that is the concern. So I understand I can understand where your government is coming from, right? But many people don't understand. They want their freedom, right? They want to be able to walk around, but there's just so many
yeah,
older people in China that it's serious, right? You don't want to see your grandparents die because of, getting this virus. What do you have you asked your grandparents? Do you still have four grandparents still alive, all four?
yes, yes.
Did they take the vaccine or did they say bouillon? They didn't want it.
So three of them take vaccine because they're healthy, and my um I think it's one side, my father's father, which is one of my grandfather, didn't take it, not because he doesn't want to take it, it's because maybe 5 years ago he had an illness and now he feels well now, but after having this illness, he cannot smoke and cannot drink something including alcohol, and this lead to um the so he cannot be like get the virus too, because there are something that will cause him to some serious problems
Yeah,
after he
yeah,
has the illness.
yeah. As I'm getting older, right? I'm so sure. Gee, I'm 47, right? I'm getting old, but your body changes. So I think when you do get older, in order to protect yourself, so you're not susceptible, right? So I think maybe when I start, maybe 50 or when I get in my 50s, I think I'm going to start taking the flu shot during the winter, right? And then, of course, hopefully we don't have to take these vaccine shots 3 times every year, maybe once a year. I will consider doing this, right? But yeah, I mean, it's a China's just so many people. It can be especially so many older people, so it can be a serious problem, right? It's a balancing act, right? You want people to have free movement, but then it can be it can be deadly, right? If people don't take the vaccines and they have to go into the hospital, right? I understand. So yeah, I think it's a very difficult job to be a president of any country, you know?
Yes.
Because everyone, we say in English slang, right? You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. I'll type this out for you, right? So you can say damnation, right? It kind of has a religious flavor to it. So damned if you do and damned if you don't, right? Which is kind of like a thankless job, meaning you never get thanked, right? So let's like for an example, I mean,
Yes.
the Chinese government, they care about the people. They don't want all the old people to die, right?
Yes.
Obviously, but then at the same time, everyone wants to be able to walk around now, right? Without the masks, where everyone's tired from 2 years of the virus. So if they let people walk around with the masks, then the old people might get sick and die, right? If they let
Yeah.
the old people, if they lock in everybody and keep the old people from dying, then the people don't have freedom to walk around with masks. So they no matter what they do, it's a no win, right? So they're damned if they do and damned if they don't, right? So it's a very difficult job. I don't know if I don't too much stress. Yeah, hendada yali, too much stress. All right, what essay did you do, Eric? Which essay? Let me see.
Yeah. So
I
I
pulled it up.
sent it on the
Yeah, yeah,
uh
yeah. Oh, yeah, I said
yeah,
I pulled it up.
so
Oh,
yeah.
excellent. You put all right, good. No, I was just wondering if you put the title in there. Excellent. Very good. Did you do this from a book or did you do this from the website?
My mother find or log in the IELTS list website,
Oh,
and
fabulous.
then she found like an IELTS, I think task one essay for this, and then he just made it
Yeah,
onto the
excellent,
document
fabulous.
and
Yeah, I would,
made me
I think
write it.
I think I advise your parents because your English is so good. Do not buy, at this point, my Yancheng Dashui right? All my universities from my university student from Yancheng, their English is nowhere near as good as yours, right? So they have to buy the Chinese, right? I think where is that book? I think I already advised you guys to buy it, right? IELTS standard IELTS prep book.
Yeah, I've seen that books.
Yeah,
There are a lot of levels and a lot of
prep.
like charts of books.
Yeah, it is a good book. I've had it, I've read it, right? There's many. I would advise getting this one's pretty good, right? They're all good, right? If your parents somehow, I'm trying to think, I would love to buy you one and mail it to you, but I just mailed my son a bunch of vitamins. I paid $70 for the vitamins here in the US. It cost me 140 May yuan, right? American dollars. It's so expensive to mail. So, but
Yes.
if your parents can buy you one, buy it in English.
And so there is a
Yeah.
really interesting thing that maybe the year before last year, when there is less pandemic in our city, because at that time in our city it's really safe, no pandemic. The graduates, I want to buy a book like the IELTS one, and they said I will send you um with no money. It's all free because they made great wishes on me, and then I just brought back one or two even with no money.
Yeah, you can, again, everything's online anyway. So, I mean, you could buy it, you could buy the PDF, right? I don't even know how they're administering the exams now because during the height of the virus, right, you would take the exam from Yanchong. You would take it on the computer,
Yeah,
right?
it's mainly on the computer, and sometimes, from what I knew, it's in some universities in Yancheng, it will set places to do tests, and you have to go to particular places that the administration part of the test prepares for you.
Right. But let's think, I mean, you're not going to take this now for at least, right? I don't even think you can, right? What's the age? You cannot sit for the exam for what, 2 more years, right? 2 or 3 more.
Yeah.
Right. So don't worry about it. We're just saying how to best study for it. And then, so I would assume, let's be wishful thinkers, right? Let's hope for the best that this virus, there's no, humanity, we've all handled this, that you'll probably be going back to, you'll probably need to go to Beijing, right? To take the actual exam. I'm thinking in 3 years' time. What do you think?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's Yeah, I think it will be probable in the future when there is no pandemic or
Right.
less.
So I think you'll have to, I think we'll get back to the face to face because they, it's easier for them to mark you, right? There's still ways, no matter how controlled they can do the Zoom or what have you, they still, we still want to get back to face human interaction. So I think by the time you sit for the IELTS examination, it will be back to face. Now, how best do you study? Do you still enjoy reading from actual books, or do you not, or do you mind not to read on the computer all day? I mean, I still like to study from a book. I don't like to look at a screen all day.
Yeah, so I think reading a book is good because it can prevent me from wearing glasses, and I don't like wearing
Right.
glasses because it seems awful, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a corrective measure, right? Who wants to wear anything, right? We like to be natural, right? We don't want to have anything to disturb our being. Well, that being said, and you probably, most likely, I would say 95% that you will need to do your IELTS exam face to face, and then you will probably need to travel with your parents to Beijing for the week, for 3 or 4 days, 2 or 3 days to take the exam. That I would, since it's going to be face to face, I would have your parents. You could buy it online and then have one of your parents print it out at school, right?
Yes.
Right. Or try to, now that the pandemic is over,
Yeah.
yeah, you could just actually have them mail it to you. But my advice, since your English is so good, do not get the Chinese to English one and vice versa, right? Because that's what my students do, because their brain, they need to go one for one. They need to, like, furen yuren kind of, right? They need to translate it in their brain. Your brain, you don't need this, right? Because you think now in two languages perfectly. So do not. So if you, when you, whatever you do, whatever you and your parents decide to buy, just buy the English version. You understand? Yes.
Uh,
Need you dowel, Eric? You
yeah.
understand? Yeah. Don't buy, like this book, right? So my students, this is on Amazon. I think maybe you could. I don't. Yeah, Amazon ships to China, doesn't it? I don't know, but it's very expensive, right? But like, these are all good books, and of course you want the up to date modern one, and it has answers. Um, but do not get, like, they'll have the Chinese version, right? Cambridge will produce the French IELTS version, right? For French IELTS, right? They'll also, they make so much money. They'll print, right, the Italian version, right? So they have the Chinese version. Do not buy that. Just buy the English version, okay? You understand? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm after our session, I'll I'll include your parents on what on that too. I'll make it clear. I'll type it out exactly kind of what we're doing. All right, excellent. Well, let's just jump right to it. Okay, Eric's 16th essay. I like this. You always do that. That's not necessary, but that's funny. You can do that, right? Now I learned to do the TH that way, but again, that's subjective. And since it's a impartial, or it's a short statement, right? It's not really a sentence. You don't need the period, right? So you can just
Yeah.
get rid of the period there. Yeah, you don't need to do that anymore, right? Because we've been working together so long. And that's good. Again, this is more for academia. There's two different styles that I want to work with you on, right? Obviously, to better your score and get the best score on IELTS, which is still academic. You're going to be taking the academic IELTS, but I also would like to prepare you for, like, say, if you do go to summer school in England, or you do go to university, right, in a native English country, I want to prepare you for writing a paper, right, which is different. All right, a paper, a 1-page paper, 2-page paper, 3-page paper. I think you could really, depending what you do this summer, but I think by the time you start your high school, I think you could be writing a very good 3-page paper, right? All right, let me just read this real quick. So the pie charts below, right, show the proportion of energy consumption from different sources in a country between 1985, and 2003. Summarized, right? I guess you one day, right, you'll take the IELTS, so that will have to be British, so you'll have to put the S in there. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant, okay? Briefly analyze the reasons, try to guess how energy consumption will change over the next 15 years. Very good. We don't need to double space that. I mean, it's nothing was wrong with it, but single space that. Okay. Just it's easier for my eyes to read it that way. And then at least 300 words, right? So again, when you see this, Eric, that is right. Obviously, you want to write your essay around these instructions. But what does this mean? At least 300 words. What does that mean to you when you sit down to start typing? What does that mean?
It means you have to write over 300 words. So I
Correct.
really haven't. Yeah, I've seen that, but after I wrote it, I count the letters. It's 303, but I just add this paragraph in. So I think in actual parts, it didn't have 300 words.
Yeah, no, but that's a big one, right? So exactly, especially if even if you go face to face in Beijing for your IELTS test, you most likely, I think you're gonna have to type out your essays, because no one writes them anymore, right? At university, everyone has their laptop. No one writes anymore. It's a lost art. But when you sit down, right, you'll see that at least 300 words, and it's very easy, right? Then for them, when they correct it, right, because all they do is whatever the system is that they graded. I'm sure they'll have their own system, right? They just go to where is that bad boy? Right, word count. Up. See, Eric, you typed in 235 words. So you were short 65, right? So that's
Yeah.
not good. Right? So you need to make sure, because they are going to penalize you. So even if you type in, even if you do 299, you're going to get you probably are going to get penalized, right? They're going to mark off. And if you do if you do even less, you might get more points deducted, right? Taken off. So make sure, right? And I know you're very busy, and you're doing fabulous studying for this right now at your age, for sure. But when you sit down, right, make sure your father or your mother time you. I don't know how it goes. I think maybe they have the timer, like when you start typing, I think maybe they have the timer in the right, because I've taken those standardized tests. So you'll be able to see how much time you have left. So if you want to time it, but I'd have one of your mother or your father supervise it, right? To remind you that you have this much time remaining, or I'd have your cell phone or have, a timer there, but make sure, brother, you do at least 300 words. Okay. So the pie chart reveal. Ooh, what's missing there? Eric? 你睡觉了，朋友。Eric, are you sleeping?
No, I'm not sleeping. It's just the internet is not really stable, so it
Oh,
keeps
okay.
like there is some noise now.
Oh, okay, that's all right. But what's missing there, right? So the pie charts, what's missing in this word?
So I think,
Grammar, yifu, right? Grammar.
yeah, I don't have to add an yes, s, so I think I'll add an ed, probably.
Pie charts revealed. Yeah, that's good. The pie charts revealed. The pie charts reveals. The pie charts revealed. Yes, I would do it past tense. Good, good, good. The pie charts revealed the condition of the energy produced in a particular country. Okay. Again, I do double space. Pie charts reveal the condition of the energy produced. Okay, again, ending in a preposition. That's okay in academic IELTS. But how do you think you could rephrase this to not end in a preposition?
Um, yeah, so I think I'll say the pie chart reveals um rev the condition of a particular country's energy produced.
Yes. Hold on a second. They don't give us names of the countries. So the pie charts show the proportion of energy consumption from different sources in a country, right? The pie charts reveal the A countries, right? Revealed A countries energy condition. The pie charts reveal, you don't need it, right? The pie charts reveal a country's energy production condition. Produced. It's just how you phrase the words, right? Produced energy condition. And then you don't need the of, right? Sometimes, right? Again, even though you need 300 words, right? The old adage is, right? Sometimes less is more, right? What does that mean? Less is more.
It means sometimes using last words, they have more specific meanings,
Yes,
or they can be more
exactly.
meaningful.
Exactly, like Confucius, right? Or tofu, right? Like sometimes like 3 words can mean more than if like a whole paragraph, right? However, again, right, you need to be conscious to write to type in at least 300 words. All right, so the pie charts reveal countries' produced energy condition. They show us the percentages. That's good. You did the possessive, right? They show us the percentages changes of the energy produced from various sources, respectively. Ooh, that's good. I understand. It's good. It's just how do we tighten it up? How can you make it always? How can you make something better? Right? Like I'm gonna do a third draft of my book. It may be boring for people to read it, but I want it to read well, to be smooth. So they show us the percentages changes. Let me try to make this bigger, Eric. Okay. So the pie chart reveal a country's produced energy condition. They show us percentages change the changed. How would you switch this to make it sound better?
Um,
I would include all of this.
I think I'll put from, yeah, put the energy produced percentages.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I would say they show us as good, right? Because you are illustrating, you are drawing the reader to what we want to see, right? So they show us the the chain, I would say the chain, maybe changed energy production or percentages. They show us the changed energy percentages from, you don't need produced, from various sources. And you don't need respectively, because we understand, right? It's already identified here from various sources. Maybe you can say such as, right? Such as, comma, oil, nuclear, hydrogen, coal, natural gas, and other renewables. Now, if you really want to be, I mean, I said this to my college, right? Because I was an English literature undergraduate, right, at university. So you took higher level classes. So I took this at like, I think my senior year. We had to edit, right? Like kind of what I want you to do one day, be the teacher, right? Because it helps you to learn, helps you to learn to teach, right? If that makes sense.
Yes.
So I said every time you itemize or you list things, to why not do it alphabetically? Because people, Western readers, know the alphabet, right? A, B, C, D. So it's easier for them to process it, right? To comprehend it. So, right? So O, M, N. So you would do N first, right? Or A, B, C, you would do C first, because that's right. So coal. Right, so you get rid of coal, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? So then you do hydrogen. You see what I'm saying? Like if you really want to be specific, because it's just easier for people, for Western readers, and obviously the IELTS, you're writing for a Western reader, right? So a Western brain, right? So such as coal, hydrogen, right? Get rid of hydrogen. So coal, hydrogen. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, and then
Natural
A, right?
gas.
Then you do natural gas. Sorry, hold on. Then you do natural gas. Hey, what Chung? Then you would do oil.
Yeah, and
Oh,
a
nitrogen.
nuclear
Yeah,
between it.
nitrogen, right? Oil and other. You see what I'm saying? Like, it sounds crazy. Just
Yes. Sorry, it's nuclear. Nuclear.
nuclear. Okay, yeah, nuclear. But yeah, Hen Fung Qua, right? It's very crazy. But why? Because we're used to processing A, B, C, D, right? 1, 2, 3 in our brain. So if someone's looking at it, it's easier for them to read and easier for them to process. My teacher was like, "Yeah, that makes sense." She was like, she was pretty, my college professor. She was like, "That's pretty good." All right, so the pie charts reveal countries' produce energy condition. Good. They show us the changed energy percentages from various sources. Comma? Do we need a comma there? Various sources, such as, I don't think so. Again, right, less commas the better if you can do it. So from various sources such as coal, hydrogen, natural gas, nuclear, oil, and other renewables. That's good, very good. So they also demonstrate the specific changes. Okay, again, ending in a preposition. How would we include the years, but not to end it with from? How would you include that into the sentence?
Um,
Again, if you cannot think of something, it's always good to start. It's not good, but it's better to start the sentence with the preposition than end it, right? So if you can't think of anything. Yeah, this is okay. Well,
yeah.
just, yeah, you could say,
Still
huh?
doesn't sound very good.
I would say, right, for me, I would say they demonstrate changes, right? Changes from 1985, right, to 2003. They demonstrate changes. They demonstrate 1985 to 2003 specific changes. Right? Is that the same sentence but sounds better? I think so. I don't know. Is that what you wanted to emphasize or to convey?
Yeah, I think it sounds better than before.
Okay. All right. And again, when you put in the hyphens, I've been using these a lot in my own writing. That is a way of just saying it faster, right? Or you can say something that is combined or it's faster, right? So they demonstrate 1985 to 2003 specific changes. Okay. All right, good. Again, since you've got to write or you've got to type at least 300 words, I would include, right, generally, paragraphs are 4 to 6, right, sentences, right? So here, Eric, you only did 3, right? So you could definitely use another sentence or 3 more theoretically, right? So that's where you would make up for the lost 300 words, but that's okay. Let's just work on structure right now. And your structure is always good, right? It looks beautiful, so that's great. That's another reason for Western eyes to look at a structure and say, "Wow, it looks good," but now let me read it, right? So that's good. That's a good. It looks good. It looks good. Okay, oil predominates. That's a good word. And on your IELTS test or your exam, you're going to get more points if you use, you show off, right, your English vocabulary, and that's a very good word. And if you use it correctly, obviously, right? So predominates throughout. Ooh, predominates. I don't know. Would you use predominates or dominates?
Yeah, I think dominate is also allowable, but I am not really sure about the predominate one.
Yeah, again, when you're typing online, I would try to type or study to the exam. So don't use a dictionary, but afterwards, right, you can correct yourself. So predominates or predominant, right? To be stronger or leading an element or of a force, predominates the pie chart, predominates versus dominates. Yeah, I mean, you could do, yeah, it works. I would say it towers above, right? And it's so akin, right? It's the same, right? Dominate and predominant, it's the same root word, right? The same word. Yeah, it's up to you. Yeah, it's up to you. All right, hold on a second. Okay, oil predominates throughout the whole period, right? Although the percentage significantly dropped from over 50%, yes, to about, right? You could say about or around, about, yeah, that's good. About 40%. That's a good sentence. Very good, Eric. Good. So I'm trying to think. So this is your introduction, right? Your introductory paragraph reveals that countries produce energy condition. They show us the changed energy percentages from various sources such as coal, hydrogen, natural gas, right? Okay. And then you're all right. So you're stating this. And now you're being descriptive. You're detailing what the charts, how they've changed. Okay. So oil predominates throughout the whole period. Yeah, although the percentage significantly dropped from over to about, okay, likewise, nuclear slightly dropped. Would you say that's a slight drop from 22 to 17? That's slight?
Mm, I'd rather say it's slight because what I want to say is compared to the oil's drop. So the oil drops
Okay.
certain
Okay.
percentages, but Yeah, the nuclear one only drops 5%.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fabulous. I would even include that, right? So you get more words, right? You get the greater words. So I would say likewise, nuclear slightly dropped to 17, becoming the third largest 2003 proportion, right? So you don't end it with a preposition, but then I would include that sentence. I would say, so oil dropped 13%. Yeah. Oh no, I would say although uh nuclear did not drop as significantly as oil, um it did drop it did drop or yeah, it did drop to 17%. You don't need a paragraph, or you don't need a comma there. So although nuclear did not drop as significant as oil, significantly, right, as oil, it did drop to 17% in becoming the third largest 2003 report. Yes. Ooh. Oh. I don't know. That I get it, but that could be kind of confusing. I don't know. That's all right. That's all right. All right, we have less than a minute. Although nuclear did not drop as significantly as oil, it did drop. Oil, comma, it did drop to 7 becoming the third largest. That's all right. All right. Additionally, all right, Eric, if we log off, just log back in. All right. We don't. All right. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. It did drop to 7 and becoming the third largest. Additionally, natural gas increased. Yes. So additionally, natural gas increased visibly. You don't need visibly, right? Because we know